Alright, boys and girls, we're going to try something a little bit different. Actually, I had a unboxing of the Storm King's Thunder miniatures last year. Um, but we're going to try doing something different. We're going to start. I've been getting enormous numbers of questions from folks about miniatures. I've been collecting for over 30 years, and I have probably 10,000 or more miniatures. In recent years, I've started getting away from metal miniatures because of uh, how much of a beating they can take in a relatively short period of time. And plastic miniatures just seem to hold up. And the pre-painted plastic are beautiful insofar as you don't have to worry so much about um, them chipping or breaking. If you break a miniature, you can usually super glue it real easily, or they're so cheap they're easily replaced. So what we're going to start doing is I'm going to start answering some of your questions about miniatures, namely, where do I get my miniatures from? What do I look for, and which sets do I like the most? So we're also, as sets come out, going to do some reviews on sets. In this case, we've got the Maze of Death set. This actually came out, I think, a few months back. It's a Paizo Pathfinder battle set, but it doesn't really matter. Most of these miniatures you can use in 5e or any edition of D&D. They're pretty well compatible with, and I've actually gotten multiples of these cases. But it would take forever to open a whole case, so we're just going to do a brick. Maze of Death, I'm just going to start by saying this was an incredible set of miniatures. It's one of the better ones I've seen in recent years. And it's got a little bit of everything. It's got fiends, monstrous humanoids, monstrosities, undead, dragons, and even some terrain. It's got a little bit of everything. So we're going to take a mini glam drink here and give it a little quick pop open here. That's it for mini glam drink. We'll put you away. So we'll pop them open. Now, the thing I always look for in miniatures, I don't normally buy the randomized boxes. I think there's 4 miniatures in a randomized box, because a lot of times these sets don't have multiple miniatures that I'm really interested in. But in the case of the Maze of Death, virtually every single miniature in this set has been spectacular. Very, very excellent set of miniatures. So I didn't mind buying a set. Of course, in the future, when we start doing more and more of these reviews, I'm going to be buying whole cases of them. So I think in the next couple months, both Paizo and Wizards of the Coast have some sets that are coming out. So we'll be able to see some more of these videos. So let's go ahead and take them out of their brick here. Now, the beautiful part about this is, by getting them in a brick, most of the manufacturers, they try to distribute the miniatures fairly evenly. Let me get rid of this plastic. It's loud. There we go. So they're going to try to distribute the miniatures fairly evenly so that you don't end up with a whole bunch of the same miniature. If you get a sealed case, you usually can count on getting a full set. If you got a sealed brick, you can count on not getting too many duplicates. You'll probably end up with 2 or 3 of the same one, but it's not going to be that bad. So let's go ahead and crack these bad boys open. So I'm going to brutalize these boxes. I don't usually save the boxes, so I don't think anybody does, really. But recently, I don't know how many. I probably get between 6 to 10 messages a day from folks. Where do you get your miniatures from? And to answer that, I usually say one of 2 things. I give them the websites that I'll buy from for my singles. So, like I said, I don't normally buy the cases. In the past, at least, I haven't bought the cases, because usually I don't want everything that comes in a set. Places like Miniature Market or Troll and Toad, Fantazation, or even Paizo sells some of theirs in um, single form, so you can just pick and choose the one you want. Of course, you're going to pay in like this guy, this Nightmare Dragon miniature. I think he's something like $20 or $30 if you just try to buy him by himself. Of course, who knows how many boxes it would take to buy, to get the dragon. So, but like I said, in the case of Mazes of Death, this was a beautiful, beautiful set. Now, it does have a few pieces in this set that that kind of upset me, and it's one of my pet peeves. But we'll get there if we come across it. So we're gonna take this box, throw it down here. Now, check this out. This is beautiful. It's some of the terrain, an altar of evil. What do you think of that? That's beautiful. Altar of evil. We're gonna set it over here. As you see, we already got the portcullis back here. Just a little terrain piece, and a decorative suit of armor. So, yeah, it's kind of nice, right? And those of you know me know that my favorite dragon is the blue dragon, so I was extraordinarily happy to get that guy earlier. But in any case, we got the altar of evil. Let's see what else we got sealed up in here. Bubble wrap. Okay, so the Sahagin, or Sahuagin, depending on who you talk to, that's a copyrighted Wizards of the Coast miniature, a Sahagin. So the Pathfinder has the Ulat Kini, and it's basically, a Sahuagin. Basically what you got there. And of course, anyone that runs any DM will know that you can never have too many Sahuagin. Oh, what do we got here? A Pugwampy Gremlin. Now, he's really tiny. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Let me see if I can get my big fat fingers out of the way, though. Zoom. Oh, the camera's struggling. There you go. Or maybe not. Oh, in any case, he's a tiny little guy. And the last one from this box, from box one. Now, some of you guys may not be happy about getting terrain pieces, but let me tell you, I started using a lot of terrain in my campaigns, and and when I say terrain, I mean tables, chairs. My players have learned to stack tables against doors, use them as barrier. I mean, it opens up so many more possibilities. So here we go. This guy, he's actually an undead, a juju zombie, kind of a more powerful, intelligent zombie. All right, box one was a success. We got the Altar of Evil, which I wanted, so that's good. That's good. It's always good to get what you want. Of course, God, man, I got to tell you, Mazes of Death, probably the best set I've had in many years, and I've been collecting a long time. Now, we just scored big because we got the Nightmare Dragon. So as you can see, there's all kinds of mist that collect around him, and he's held in by, you can't contain the Nightmare Dragon here. So let me get him unwound. Might have to get Mini Glamdring out here. Nope, I got it. Alright, so let's pull the Nightmare Dragon out. Now the beauty, now you might say to yourself, well, Nightmare, I play 5e, D&D 5e, I don't have a Nightmare Dragon in my game. Well, I'll make one. One of the funnest parts about D&D is for DMs is creating monsters. Look at this. Can you see this thing? Look at the tail. It's got this big bushy tail. 4 eyes. Is that wicked or what? Nightmare Dragon. So we'll set him over here. I'm going to put this in here. Let's see what else we got in here. We have a wood golem. Now, again, as a DM, I look at this thing. Yeah, it could be a wood golem, but I could use it as an animated plant. There's a number of things that this guy could do. So always look to multi-purpose your miniatures. What do we got next? Okay, so this one is great. Okay, can you see? There we go. All right, so he's a rat folk with a little torch, a little dagger. However, he also kind of looks like a kobold. So again, you want to use him as a rat folk, or do you want to use him as a kobold? I wonder if I can get him to zoom in. There we go. So I guess maybe having my website up here in the background is causing the camera not to focus on it well. And this one's fairly large. What is this? What is this? Ugh. Oh, it's a lizard folk. Okay, lizard man. So yeah, again, can never have. This set is like great all-purpose set. I have a number of my players at the game store where I frequent are starting. They know that I'm moving to New Orleans soon. And so a few of them have stepped up and agreed to start learning how to DM, but they've also begun building miniature collections. And this set came out, and I said, man, you can get all of your staples out of the way with this one set. So it's beautiful. Now this, here we go, another really good one. We've got a devil. If I can get him out of there. Ice devil. Oh. So yeah, that's a great one, an ice devil. Now the ice devil on D&D doesn't have big antlers, but who cares? Again, don't worry about the details. These are all usable. They're all stunning for your table, all pre-painted and everything. These are great. Now I was telling you before, you know, it's a tough call for. We've got a blight druid. Of course, that could be any druid really. He's got a little fur cloak on, and it looks like an elf. But he's a blight druid, so he's a bad guy. But that's okay. He can be used for anything. But as I was saying, I normally buy my single miniatures at Miniature Market and those places. They have Troll and Toad in particular has a lot of good deals. Ooh, a fungus for your Underdark adventures. Very nice. But whenever possible, I always buy from my game store. And yeah, Amazon's going to have better prices. Amazon's going to kill your game stores every time, price-wise. But you realize that it's the number one place to meet new friends, put gaming groups together, network is going to be, whoops, dropped a miniature. Hello, guys. The number one place you're going to be able to do all those things is at a game store. And so if you guys don't support it, you know, don't go to McDonald's once. That's the difference. The cost difference in ordering your book from your game store versus getting it online. You know, skip a McDonald's trip or whatever. It's just, you got to support your game stores. So, little halfling with a butcher knife. It's a halfling butcher. Let's see if I can get him to zoom. Oh, come on. I think it made my hands focus, but not the miniature. But anyway, you get the idea. Another good one. All right, next up. This is our fourth box. So far, we've had big scores across the board. Here's actually another decent one. So I'm actually running right now a piracy campaign, and so this giant moray eel is something I'll actually use. I'm planning on the party having to go underwater here soon, so it's going to make for some interesting encounters underwater. Let's pop the next group open. What is this? Another Juju zombie, which I showed you guys earlier. A little Juju zombie. And he could be a number of different things. Next. Come on, ice cream. Uh-oh. We have our first casualty. Okay, so at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there are some things that I just don't like about some of the newer sets. The number one thing I don't like are the tendency to the manufacturers to begin to put miniatures on these plastic pegs. So as you can see, he broke off his plastic peg. Now this is fixable, and actually this peg on this particular miniature is a bit on the thicker side, so I'm surprised it broke. But there are some that, my goodness, those spindly little pegs like they have under the sharks from an older set. A lot of the dragons from some of the other sets are mounted on these little tiny pegs that just snap so easily. And I can't even... I have several copies of the Shadow Demon that have pegs, and every single one of them broke off their pegs. Every single one. And I've had people tell me, well, why don't you just store them off their pegs? Well, I did have them stored off their pegs. It's just you bump them wrong while you're using them or whatever, and they snap. Okay, this is a great miniature, though. All right, we've got... It's a pretty goblin. She's got a sundress on. She's got earrings. Beautiful necklace, but it's literally called Pretty Goblin. See if I can get that to focus. Focus, I say. I don't know if it's going to want to. If I take off Pretty Goblin. I love it. Hello. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, Pretty Goblin. That's a good one. So we're going to have to super glue this guy. So here's what he looks like when he's not broken. Very King of the Dead looking guy. Very cool. Alright, here we go. Next up. Ooh, another good one. Okay, so one of the things I don't think gets enough love in D&D are carnivorous plants. And this guy is just awesome. The Viper Vine. I mean, that could be a big old shambling mound. You could use that any way you want. But in any case, you could make your own carnivorous plant. This guy is going to chow down on some seriously unsuspecting player characters. And it is big. Look at that. Right next to this little tiny halfling. That little halfling wouldn't stand a chance. He's just hosed. Seriously. Let's see what else we got here. Oh my goodness. You're going to love this one. You guys are going to love this one. Werebear. Bjorn, anyone? He's pretty cool. Alright. Here's another good one. You can never, ever have too many lizard men. Oops. He's got that cool turtle shell and spiky shield. It's good times. And here's another one I have not yet seen. I'm going to rip into it. Oh, goodness. What in the world is this thing? A canopy lurker. It looks like something straight out of Cthulhu. Are you serious? That is vile. That is seriously vile. We'll set that aside. That's awesome. Alright, 3 more boxes to go. Let's see what else we got here. Oh boy. I see something cool. What do we got here? I just tore the hell out of that box. Now, I'm sorry guys, but I have to sneeze. So, my apologies if I start sneezing. Alright, Mazes of Death. Wouldn't be Mazes of Death without a Minotaur. In this case, a Minotaur Cleric. What do you think of that guy? Pretty awesome. That's a great sculpt. Up next, another plant. Again, can never have too many plants. They can almost always catch your players off guard. Did I show you? Yeah, I did show you the lizard folk. This is, I don't know what this is. Erdifon. It kind of looks like an aquatic race, but I don't know. I wonder if it's like their answer to. They kind of reminds me of the Githyanki, like a Pathfinder Githyanki, a little bit. Ooh, ooh, and we got another suit of armor. Another one of the beautiful terrain pieces. I got two of them. I can decorate a dungeon somewhere. I actually, in Days of Blight, the first Days of Blight, there's a suit of armor on display in one of the houses that a ghost begins to monkey with, so that's good. The next one, ooh, here we go. Gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, we have, okay, the Chul. This is the Pathfinder Chul. But the great thing about this creature is that this could be a giant crab. This could be a monster you invent. I mean, it is horrific looking. If you want to design your own monster around it, I mean, the possibilities are endless with this guy. So big score there. Oh, what do we have here? Looks like, goodness gracious, what is this? I have not gotten this one yet. Believe it or not, there are miniatures I don't have. So I can get to it. We have a copper dragon. Look how beautiful that guy is. Now, of course, copper dragons are tricksters. He's on a little stone. Wonder if I can get his. Oh, his wings are kind of malleable. I can probably get him to bend out a little bit. How about that? That's a beautiful sculpt. Copper dragons are among my favorites because they love to play practical jokes on people. So yeah, that's a great one. We got another werebear. Not a bad sculpt too. Nice. Kind of makes me want to design a race around bears. Of course, you guys know that I have the Monstrous Lexicon, a new monster manual coming out soon. And there's the lupines are in it. Okay, this is an undead creature. It's on a peg, but I don't know how else they could have done it, sadly. So it's basically a head, a set of lungs, and a spinal column. It's an undead creature. I don't know if you can see it. I can get it to zoom in, but yeah, it's ugly. It's nasty. But it is on a peg, so it's going to be very fragile. So storing these miniatures on a peg, and this is my one big pet peeve about the miniatures is the ones with the pegs. Ugh, fragile, fragile, fragile. So we're on our last box, guys, and I'll post some pictures on Instagram. What do we got? Okay, we got one of the big peg culprits. Okay, so I had opened one of these before, and just the act of getting it out of the case, out of the box, broke the peg. So I'm going to show you this thing. It is a sea drake, which is a great looking miniature, but it doesn't need to be on a peg. They could have done something different, put it on a stone, or, whatever. But getting it out of the box before was what broke the peg. And let's see if I can. Let's see if I can do this without breaking. I might have to get old Trusty out, and cut him out because I don't want to break this peg. There we go. I got him out without breaking it this time. So as you can see, it's a very nice looking sea drake. I got like 4 or 5 of those guys now. So they will make for a good encounter for my ocean going campaign. Here's another one I don't have. This is not on a peg, but it's a witch fire. So it looks like an elemental of some kind. See if we can get it to focus. Kind of a neat looking guy. He's made out of fire, jumping up. Again, he's on that really fragile plastic though, so we're going to have to be careful with him. 2 more. Ooh, now this is one. The miniature is called a Hell Knight, and I think he's supposed to be like an infernal agent. But someone looked at him and said, "Man, that looks like a cool looking drow sculpt." So my Hell Knight, we actually ended up using as a drow. So he's got a mask on, so you can't really tell, but he's dark dark-skinned a little bit. He's got that cool cloak. But he could be a player character. He could be a number of different things. A cool villain. And then the last miniature, but definitely not least, we have another pretty goblin. Pretty goblin. Pretty goblin. And literally called Pretty Goblin. Yeah, I love it. Pretty Goblin. And she is pretty too. Love it. Love it. Let's see if we can get into focus better. We have to come up with a new system. So this was kind of our trial run at opening a box. I think what we'll have to do is get a better system for showing them off. Because getting the camera to focus well is definitely a problem. So here's the haul from a single brick. I think that this Nightmare Dragon will get a lot of play. It's just very cool looking. It's probably one of the cooler sculpts in the set. This Minotaur Cleric obviously is very cool. I'm a big fan of carnivorous plants, so yeah, he's going to get some use. You can never have too many lizard folk. So we got 2 lizard folk out of that deal. It gives me like 30 or 40 lizard folk, but Copper Dragon I was not expecting. I did not even realize he was in this set. So that's kind of a nice one. An Ice Devil. I actually have several Ice Devils, but an encounter of these things would be pretty vicious for the party. Their CRs are pretty up there. So split up the... And of course, the Altar of Evil. Wish I had this at GaryCon last year when we did the Temple of Orcus. This is beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, got a Cthulhu-esque monster here. Elder Evil. I don't know what else to call it, but it's called a Canopy Lurker. I don't know what it really is, but it's very cool. I really was hoping to get more of these. I really want a large collection of fungi. I don't have a lot. I really want more. But overall, we had 1 casualty. Again, the peg let us down. And again, surprisingly, again, it's one of the stouter pegs. So yeah, it's a problem. I wish they would stop doing this peg stuff because, yeah, I mean, it looks great, but maybe if they built it using a different type of plastic that won't break so easily, because storage is a real problem for these guys. And I'll be honest, I just would rather him be like on a rock or something if that's the case. So, but yeah, that's what we got. I would definitely give Maze of Death, these guys. I would definitely give Maze of Death high scores. At least an 8 out of 10. There are miniatures that we didn't even see in this set. There are Darrow spellcasters, the crazy dwarfs, Darrow artillery. And when they say artillery, it's like crossbowmen. There are other Minotaur sculpts that we didn't get to see. There are other terrain pieces, like this portcullis. There are set pieces that are just doors, so it's a big wall with a door in the center. There's a fireplace set. I actually have a few of the fireplaces I can put away right now. So, again, this was 1 brick. If you buy an entire case, which is 4 bricks, or 24, or what is it, 4 bricks of 32 boxes, 32 of these guys, as long as it was a sealed case and they didn't get shuffled, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a full set. At least that's the way it's always been done in the past. So look for more of these videos in the future. I definitely like this set. There is another set. In fact, I could bring it up here on the internet here, the old internet machine. There's another set that let's see here. Jungle of Despair. So the Jungle of Despair set Paizo came out with directly after A Maze of Death. And I got to be honest, I didn't like this set very much. I never bought a single miniature from the set. But if we're going to start doing these reviews, you might see me pick up a case of these so you guys could see. I have trouble with a miniature that looks like this. But you know, lots of plants. So you know, that's one of my favorite things. Is lots of horrific looking plants to throw. This just looks like a big pile of poo with a skeleton in the center, but that's okay. Oh, is this not Howl's Moving Castle? Come on. But you know, like, this set had the big Hydra. It's a huge size Hydra. And again, some terrain pieces. So maybe we'll pick up a case of these. But coming up, we have Kingmaker coming out in 2018 in October, and then Wizards of the Coast has, what do they have? Oh, the Dragon Heist coming out in September. We don't know what's all going to be in there quite yet. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to put some of these up on Instagram and share them on there. But in any case, we'll talk to you guys next time.